Hey folks, Randy Newberg here with another episode of Leupold's Hunt Talk Radio from the coolest place on the planet, Southeast Alaska. You guys are going to crack up with this one. We are in this is the Bear Camp podcast episode. Marcus suggested I bring the portable podcast kit with up here to Alaska, and we got my buddy Mike Spitzer with us, and we have figured out a way, even out on this island in the middle of nowhere, how to do a podcast, or we think we have. But before we get into that, got to make sure that you all remember who makes this possible. Leupold Optics up here in Alaska. We are hunting bears with one rifle that has a VX5 HD and one that has a VX6 on it. They both have those gold rings. And when you're in conditions like this, pretty hard to beat a gold ring from Leupold. And then we have the great folks at Tongass Maps. Right now, we're getting ready to launch our series of e-scouting, like electronic, like e-scouting for elk out on our YouTube channel. And that is brought to you by Tongass Maps. And the reason that they're bringing it to you is because they have the most important tool I know of for hunting these, what I call public-private interface areas. A great tool for searching and kind of scouting in advance of places you might apply for. And when you're out in the field, you are not going to find a more useful tool for the kind of hunting that we do. And they've been huge supporters of us, I think since they started, I think 2010 or 11, something like that. But anyhow, if you use promo code RANDY, R-A-N-D-Y, they're going to give you 20% off any app purchases. So go to onxmaps.com, get yourself some apps for the upcoming hunting season, and use promo code Randy and save yourself some money. And then we've got Orion coolers. We flew 2 65 quarts and an 85 quart up here to Alaska. And then when we jumped on the de Havilland Beaver, we left the 85 quart back at the hangar, knowing that we're going to need it for hides and meat and skulls and everything else. So with us, we're living out of 2 65 quart Orion coolers. And these coolers have been all over the place. They've been almost to Mexico now. They've been on, I think this is their third trip to Alaska. Just unbelievable coolers. So go to orioncoolers.com and use promo code Randy. See how easy we make that? R-A-N-D-Y. And you're going to get yourself a really cool tumbler with our Hunt Talk logo on it. And I certainly could not do a podcast without the help from the great folks at Go Hunt. Lorenzo, Chris, Brady, all that crew. They do such amazing stuff. For what we do, all the tags we have to apply for, all the research that we need to be doing, without Go Hunt, bringing it all right there to our fingertips, giving us so much information about public land percentages, about draw odds, harvest percentages, overviews of the unit, the season dates, the number of applicants versus number of tags, you just name it. I mean, the trends of what's going on. If you want to draw more tags, if you want to have more information and make better use of your limited time to have it all right there in one place, Go Hunt has this service called the Insider. And if you sign up for the Insider and use promo code Randy, R-A-N-D-Y, they're going to give you $50 of mad money in their gear shop. And their gear shop is not just your ordinary online store. This is product that has been tested and put through the ringer. If it doesn't meet their standards, it's not in their gear shop. So use promo code Randy to sign up for the Insider, and you get your first $50 is right in your account for purchases at the gear shop for Go Hunt. GoHunt.com, sign up for the Insider. And with that, we're about ready to hit the other buttons here and bring into the conversation Mike Spitzer, Lucky Mike, the guy with the golden horseshoe implanted somewhere in his body. And then as you guys have all come to know, Marcus Hockett, the guy who carries these cameras around, deals with the worst conditions, deals with the worst host in all of outdoor media. And we're going to have a discussion about the most fun bear hunt I've been on in my entire life. Here we go. Well, folks, I don't know if this is going to be the best podcast in the world, but it's going to be the coolest podcast in the world.
For sure.
Guaranteed?
Yeah.
All right. We are sitting on an unnamed island in southeast Alaska underneath a grove of the world's finest tree, 500-year-old Sitka spruce. And we picked this location because do we dare tell them what we're here doing? I guess it's going to come out, aren't we?
I think it will.
Yeah. We're on a bear hunt. Mike Spitzer, man of many languages, world traveler, shooter of large species. Have you ever been with us when you haven't shot a big one?
Generally lucky when I'm with you.
And Marcus, world's greatest camera guy, who came up with the idea that we ought to bring the podcast kit, run it on batteries, and see what we can get done out here in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know where nowhere really is, but I think we're close.
It's a ways from anywhere.
Yeah. And if we were trying to do this last night, even with these big Sitka spruce, I think we would have got wet.
I think you're right.
If we would have tried it even about 2 hours ago, I think we would have got wet. So this is Mike's first invitation to Southeast Alaska with us. You and I have been together in Kansas, in Wyoming, New Mexico. Where else? Nevada a couple times.
3 times Nevada.
3 times? Oh, yeah. Deer, your Desert Bighorn. Marcus, you ever drive a Desert Bighorn tag?
Not to my knowledge. When's Arizona come out? Or did I already miss that?
No, you applied, but I don't think we got to stand by any of our mailboxes waiting for the tag.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you,
It's that clean living.
it's something.
Yeah.
Maybe I do have a horseshoe stuck way up in there like you mentioned.
I think so. After what unfolded here, there's no doubt about it, folks. You bring Mike Spitzer with because you want good weather. Yeah?
We started with that.
Started with that. When you shot your bear, it was the most miserable period of the whole hunt.
You just kind of gave away the end.
That Mike shot a bear?
Yeah.
Well, but we got to get to all that.
That's true.
Because
it
was in doubt.
Little prelude.
What was that hyena-looking thing that we were looking for?
That was a big bear with, like, no hair.
Yeah. He'd rubbed everything.
He had.
I think he'd even rubbed his ears.
Pretty much. He had about a mohawk, and that was
it. But he looked like a 400-pound hyena.
Yeah.
He was a lumbering, just giant bear.
Yeah. Are you glad you didn't find him?
I am glad I didn't find him. I was ready to shoot him.
So we don't even know where to start with all this. This is my 7th trip up here bear hunting. Marcus, this is your 2nd?
Yep, 2nd.
And Mike, I don't know if finally I was able to get on his busy social calendar. Mike, please, will you come with us?
It didn't take much begging.
I think mostly what it is you saw that video from 2 years ago when on opening day up here, I passed on a really big one.
Yep.
And then 2 days later, I missed even a bigger one.
And you were still drowning in your sorrows.
Yeah.
When we met up in Nevada for a mule deer hunt.
Right.
And you said, Mike, what do you think? Want to come along?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you haven't seen that one, folks, go to our YouTube channel. It's called How to Not Kill an Alaskan Black Bear or something like that. I can't remember, but it was not my finest hour, let's put it that way. So when Mike saw that, I think he said, well, if I came with Randy, I could kind of redeem him and help him with a little good luck. And we showed up in Petersburg. It had rained for 3 weeks straight. Mike Spitzer shows up and just like Moses parting the Red Sea. All the clouds part, and everyone's out in the street. Even the deer were out in the street.
The deer were wandering around town.
Yeah.
was great. I'm not going to take much credit for it, but
well, hey,
well,
I mean, take credit when you can, because the camera guy gets all the blame.
That's true.
So when the weather went to crap yesterday, it was Marcus's fault.
That was definitely my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've told you how it works, but I don't know if the rest of the audience knows how it works. So I have some family members that everything they can think of to blame is Obamacare. And I don't know what they're going to do. You know, if we get like 30 years from now and Obamacare is gone or whatever, I think they're still going to blame it on Obamacare. So the very first thing is you blame the camera guy.
Okay.
And if the camera guy's nowhere to be found and you just can't remotely connect him to the cause of the problem, then you hope that you're hunting in a place with wolves, because if not the camera guy, you blame it on wolves. And if the camera guy's not around and you're not in a place with wolves, and then it's just that damn Obamacare. That's kind of like the blanket catch-all everything else. So, but Marcus just fessed up to the bad weather. So
he did. So I got the good weather. Marcus got the bad weather.
Yeah. And I'm just here to be the referee.
And I'll take it, because when we're together, we're generally pretty lucky when it comes to hunting.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
It's
Mike,
true. You guys.
This is the first time I think you've ever shot first, though.
It is.
Oh, wow.
Usually I'm the holdout.
Yeah. Mike does a lot of window shopping. Me, I'm a decisive buyer. When I see what I want, man, I'm on it. Pay the man.
Right.
I'm punching my tag now. But
I think you would have been there.
Oh. There's some other guys hunting. We just heard a shot back here behind us. Oh, 2. Wonder how many we're going to hear. We saw a boat come buzzing by here about, an hour ago?
Yeah. It's the first people we've seen.
Yeah, in 4 days.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Crazy. But that's all right. Hopefully they won't tell anyone, we won't tell anyone.
That's right. Still unnamed.
Yeah. An island to be named in our wills. In our autobiography of old age. So how you guys got to tell me how your bear unfolded, because here in southeast Alaska, well, anywhere in the ocean, there's this thing called the tide. And here in these channels and bays, it's pretty extreme tide. So we'd seen we need to give that thing a name, that hyena-looking thing. I don't know what. We'll just call it that hyena bear.
Yeah.
The 400-pound hyena bear.
It was, because we saw him the evening of day 1.
Yeah.
Right.
And you wanted to go shoot him. After sleeping on it, Mike said, I don't care how ugly that thing is, he's so big I'd shoot him.
Yep.
And we woke up and it was raining and raining and raining. And, there's another shot.
Wow.
Huh. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign.
They must not be shooting the 7mm08.
Right. We got to get on to that. We're going to tell folks what little pea shooters. It's amazing that you killed a bear as big as you did with that little cartridge you're using. But where were we? Oh, we woke up and it was raining. And not just raining, it was blowing.
Yeah, it was not pleasant out.
No. And Marcus has the fun job of all this. Marcus has to keep thousands of dollars of production gear dry and working. Our mics, his little handheld. What's your camera?
Mirrorless camera.
Mirrorless camera.
Yeah.
The big camera, the shotgun mic, everything else.
Oh, I just put the shotgun mic away. We just don't get that audio when it's raining.
Okay. And so he's got it. I'm sure when you wake up on a morning like that, you say, oh, gee, another fun day, huh?
Yeah. Luckily, those rain covers are pretty legit. Once you get them on.
Once you get them on.
It's a trick getting it on, but once you get it on, we haven't broke a camera yet because of rain.
Yeah, that's true. We broke many cameras, but so far none because of rain.
So got that going for us.
So we get up, and Mike says, let's go way down in that bay where that hyena bear was. And so we did. And then we had an incoming tide. That's why we dared do it. We knew we weren't going to get stranded in there because the tide was coming in.
Yep.
So we took the boat as far as we could. But then the wind is blowing into the bay. So it's going to bang the boat on all the rocks. And I make the stupid offer that I'll stay with the boat to make sure it doesn't get smashed up. And Mike and Marcus say, "Oh, you should come with us." I'm like, "No, I'll do the responsible thing." Yeah.
Yep, you didn't want to shoot the hyena bear. That was all me, so we went in there.
Yeah.
With you holding on to the boat.
Yeah.
Well, we had a bad wind because it was blowing to the end of the bay.
Right.
It was more to check this area out that we could see was kind of open.
Yeah.
Not visible from the water.
Uh-huh.
And sure enough, climbed out of the boat, started walking.
How far did you go?
About 200 yards.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
You
kind
saw
of
him right away?
No, because you go through a little island, you cross this tidal river, get up onto another island, where there's just some spruce. And that's when we kind of peeked around the corner, and off to our right, there was a bear feeding out in the grass.
Huh.
From that point, it's about 450, 500 yards. And we didn't take the spotter with us. We just had the binoculars. So.
Oh.
That was, we knew he wasn't the hyena bear because he was certainly not rubbed.
Yeah.
He's jet black, pretty. And the day previous, right? We can talk about that. I guess I passed on a bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Mike passes a lot. Yeah, that bear that you passed on was like coal black.
He was.
I don't think he had a rub anywhere.
No, he was a good-looking bear. But I was in that same mindset. Like, after watching your show from 2 years ago, you pass on the first bear that turns out to be a giant bear when you review video.
But then surprisingly, Randy didn't ground check you this time. Because in all the previous episodes, he usually, in that scenario, he would go shoot that bear. Right?
But again, I was holding the boat. But you did.
That's true.
When you declined on that first day, you did say, "If you want to go shoot him, go ahead. I'll hold the boat."
I did.
But I said, "No, if he's not good enough for Mike, he's not good enough for me." So, but plus we had 5 days.
We did. It was day one.
And it was beautiful weather as of that time.
Mm-hmm.
All to change within 24 hours. So anyhow, you guys crossed the tidal rivers and a couple islands, and
so we picked him apart with the binoculars, and he looked really big, but it's easy to second guess yourself with these bears.
Yeah.
Especially with binoculars. Anyway, we had a good wind. He was, a couple, 400 yards to our right. We had another island to hop to. But after he kind of gave me the full spin around, saw him walk a little bit, saw him how tall he was over the tall grass itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was every bit of what we hoped he'd be.
Yeah.
Anyway, we crawled out there into the middle of the river, laid down on the only little green dry patch I could find.
It's kind of surprising. It was like literally the only spot. It was perfect.
Probably 100-yard radius all around us.
Yeah.
Right. Was totally wet, submerged in water. But threw the pack down, laid across. This is about 210, Marcus?
Yeah, I think so.
Right in there. Had the little Howa 7mm 08. It's been really good for me this last year. And
I only heard one shot.
One shot?
That's all it takes for Mike Spitzer.
Generally, I like to give him a warning shot, just to let him know, hey, now's your chance. But that bear was big enough. I don't want to give him a warning.
Yeah. Huh.
I got a little excited. I was yelling, shoot him again. Because all was going through my head is that, the bears get into the brush and then it's a mess.
Right. And you want them to die in the grass if at all possible.
Oh, yeah.
But there was no need.
He did. He tumbled right in the grass, made it about 30 yards, and he was done.
So why would you shoot bears with a 7mm 08?
That 7mm 08 is laser accurate.
Uh-huh.
Right? You're still shooting a fantastic bullet out of it.
Right. That was 140 grain Nosler AccuBond.
It was.
Factory ammo.
You hit anything where you need to hit it. With that bullet at that speed.
Yeah, that was a complete pass-through when we did the autopsy.
Oh, yeah. It jellied the far side.
Yeah.
It did its job.
Yeah. So in our show, Mike has used that rifle to shoot a desert bighorn, Boone and Crockett antelope.
Boone and Crockett desert bighorn.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Boone and Crockett antelope.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about luck here. There's no Mike Spitzer involved. I just
that's
had
why
a lucky year.
That's why we're saying Mike's like Mr. We call him Lucky Mike. What else have you shot?
I killed that Nevada deer.
Oh, yeah, the year before, yeah.
What'd he go? He's 176 or 177.
Something like that.
Nice.
He's nice.
Nice buck.
Really nice. So I get to, we always tell guest hunters, where we'll loan you this rifle. You kind of have dubs underneath on the floor plate. It says, on loan to Mike Spitzer.
It does.
Yeah.
I've laid claim to it.
Everybody else asks, why do you make me shoot 308?
That's right.
Like, well, you're not Mike Spitzer.
I've just claimed it in your last will and testament on your property sheet.
Okay, I'll put that on there.
Put that on there.
Yeah. So that's the model number 1 prototype when Howe was working on that mountain rifle. They sent it to me in late 2013. Said, go kill some stuff with this. All right. Is it going to work? They're like, well, that's what we want you to tell us. That thing has killed mountain goats, desert sheep. Yeah,
it's a fantastic gun.
Yeah.
I think that Nevada deer was 450 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? It's just still.
Yeah.
It's a great little laser beam.
Yeah.
Take it.
So, you got this bear laying in the grass.
Bear's in the grass. Now, I mean.
The tide's coming in.
Tag's punched. So now it's that. Did I make the right call? We've still got a couple hundred yards here to replay it in my head. I think it was a big bear, but but we don't have a log to compare him to. And he doesn't look real big laying in the grass until you get up on him.
Right.
Holy smokes, that thing grew.
Yeah.
And kept growing.
Imagine if he had full fur, like if he just came out of the den.
Wow.
How big he'd look.
He's pretty rubbed. Not, kind of belly, side,
right,
legs, but
not like the hyena bear.
No, he had way more than a mohawk.
Yeah.
Go with.
What do you think, Marcus, when you walked up to that?
It was very large. I have not seen that many bears close in person, and I was like, oh, that one is by far the biggest bear that I've ever encountered. It.
Yeah, it's a whopper.
It was crazy.
All I know is when you came around the corner where I was holding the boat, you had a big smile. And I'd heard a shot. And I was looking at that bear across from me there, thinking...
That's right. The hyena bear came out while we were up walking.
I was lying to you. I told Marcus, I said, Mike thinks that was the hyena bear.
It wasn't?
It wasn't. No, it was just another rub bear, but it wasn't as big as a hyena bear.
No.
If it was as big as a hyena bear, I would have shot, and we would have done something else later. So.
All right, good. I still have no buyer's remorse on my bear, but that's good to know.
Yeah. So I knew that something big had happened when he came around the corner.
Oh.
And then, you know what you told me? Do you remember what you said? I need your help. We can't roll him over.
He was. You could tell when the tide's coming up, he was going to be close to wet. And we had a gravel bar about, 10 yards away?
Mm-hmm.
That we were thinking maybe we could get him to. But Marcus and I were like, he and I weren't getting him over there.
Yeah.
So.
And then the three of us gave up on the idea.
That's right. We got about 3 feet. And we're like, nope.
Yeah, we'll take pictures right here. We'll stomp this grass down. It'll grow back. I think that was the best idea we made that day, because then we started gutting and gilling. Oh, no, we had the other big bear come out that wanted to be a movie star.
Oh, yeah.
Marcus wanted. Did you see how hard Marcus tried to talk me into shooting that bear?
He was trying to talk you into that bear.
I know, he looks big to me.
So no sooner had Randy got to the bear when, we're looking at it for about 5 minutes, looking at what type of bear he is, and another bear, 300 yards away?
Mm-hmm.
About that, steps out from the brush. Just starts feeding right in the grass.
Yeah.
Same little meadow we're in.
Yeah. For what, 10 minutes?
Yeah. Or more, no.
More?
Yeah, more.
Yeah, because we started gutting and gilling.
He was there for a while. We're doing that. And he was a big bear.
Yeah, he definitely was. We went over and looked where he pooped. It was like about as big around as a pop can. Yeah. That's probably the noise we heard was probably him howling, trying to get that thing out of there.
Soup can Charlie.
I thought you were going to shoot it for a second. I just kept panning from you to the bear. You to the bear.
Well,
what are you going to do?
The thought entered my mind. I was like, how cool would that be to shoot two really big bears 300 yards from each other on the same beach? Yeah. And then I looked down the bay where the boat was tied off, and I could see this tide coming over the berm there. I'm like, this is not going to be good. We're going to have our hands full just getting out of here, with a bear or without a bear. Two bears is out of the question.
Oh, yeah.
And it was raining so hard.
Oh, it was miserable.
I really wasn't having that much fun, even though it was warm and dry. I was like, I think I told you guys 12 or 13 times how much I hate hunting in the rain. So
we did. We were just finishing up, fighting the tides coming in, getting the bear, lapping at his feet.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. I mean,
we were pulling him away from the water.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say in another, if he would have died 20 yards closer, we could have floated him back to the boat. I don't know if we would have been tough enough to lift him over the gunnel to get him in the boat.
Yeah. He had giant paws.
He had the biggest paws I have ever seen on a bear, ever. Or a black bear, ever. Yeah. And when we were walking out to where you said he was laying in the grass and we saw his tracks, I'm like, oh my goodness. If that paw print is anything like the size of the bear, we got our hands full.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see because you know how they say you can measure a bear by its track.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they say the width across the pad plus 1 inch is what he'll square or something like that.
We'll see.
If that's the case, you get about an 8-foot bear, Mike.
He's all paws and head.
He is. He's got a cassava melon on him there. He's like one of those weebles. I bet you, can you imagine how tough his neck had to be swaying that big noggin out there on that long neck all the time?
Just wrapping your arms around his head and neck, trying to take pictures and hold that thing up.
Yeah.
It was
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys went back there.
Yeah.
Well, I was sitting there. I'm like thinking to myself, well, I'll get it out of their system. Young punks, they got to go and explore and investigate. Us old guys, we just sit here and I could be shooting that one right across the little creek here.
Right.
But no, glad you guys did it. If you would have listened to me, we would have just turned around and stayed in camp. Because I hate hunting in the rain, in case anyone hasn't heard that yet. I really
know,
hate
though, we're coming back and you got the wind and rain in your face while you're driving that boat.
Mm-hmm.
And you were belting out a tune.
Oh, I was just singing I had a lot to sing about.
What did we say, Marcus? It sounded like something was dying and all the bears were going to come out just because Randy was singing.
Well, no one's ever accused me of being a vocalist by any stretch.
But it worked. How many bears did we see just driving out of there?
Yeah, there was.
You guys were counting.
Like 3 or 4. Randy was not looking. He wouldn't turn his head. He's like, I don't even want to see him.
I'm in the back running the tiller motor. I'm looking out that side of the boat. They're looking out the other side, and Marcus is like, he's a big one. You wanna? I didn't even look at him. I just said, he ain't big enough today.
You wouldn't even turn your head. I think we counted the sow and a couple cubs and a big bear.
Yeah.
And another big bear.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't let us look up in the bay if there's the bear you were chasing.
No. We were heading to camp. We had work to do. And it was raining so hard, I didn't have a bilge pump on that skiff there. We were taking on water pretty fast with the rain.
Pretty nasty.
But with that many holes in the boat, the water only gets slightly above your shins, and it reaches an equilibrium where it's kind of like, the ballast water where there's as much coming in as there is going out in that old junky skiff that we rent.
Yeah, we've used that 5-gallon bucket aplenty, just bailing water out.
Yeah, you got a lot of leaks when they give you not just a little scoop to bail it with, but a 5-gallon bucket.
Right?
Yeah. The one time I left the dock with that, and her son's like, "You wearing your waders?" I said, "Yeah, why?" "Oh, you're going to need it," he said, and he laughs. By the time I got about a mile from the dock, I'm looking at how much water's in the boat. I'm like, he was right.
That's big water, too.
Yeah, not a good time to punch a big hole in your boat, but oh well. That's one part about, I think, why there's a lot of bears in certain spots here is just the logistics. Mm-hmm. Most people probably would be intimidated by the logistics of what it takes to get here.
Absolutely. This is your 7th trip.
Yeah.
My first. And it's been incredible. But there's been a number of times where, like, if I were doing this alone or with a couple buddies and this was our first trip in here, it'd be pretty intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. And every time so when I did my first trip, I stayed at a Forest Service cabin. Mm. It was pretty relatively easier, safer. You don't have to bring all the stuff. If you get a little damp, you go into the cabin and they've got stoves. You dry everything out. Once you start doing it beach camping, you got to plan a little bit more, especially when you got all the production gear like we do.
Yeah.
And then these Forest Service cabins are usually closer to civilization also. I mean, we're like back in the...
We're a long ways from...
Yeah. How far did we have to drive today in the boat just to poach some cell service off the tower that the Indian village has there?
Several miles.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a drive.
Yeah, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Anyhow, that's the beauty of coming here. I haven't had to deal with a phone call, an email, nothing.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah. All the irate people wanting to get a hold of me because they saw something on YouTube and want to call me a bunch of bad words. I mean, watch, Mike, when this gets posted on YouTube, when I shot that bear in 2013, that episode is our #1 viewed episode.
Wow.
Of all of our YouTube episodes. And the thumbnail is me holding the paw up with these big claws. And a lot of those comments are like a lot of aggressive K sounds, a lot of F-bombs when people comment.
Why is that?
What'd you kill that innocent bear for? And I usually say, because I wanted to eat him.
Right?
What else am I going to tell him? So... that's what happened. And so when this one airs, just get ready for a lot of flack. But that's all right.
Bring it.
There we go. Bring it, Marcus.
Yeah, they probably won't care about me. I'm just behind the camera, right? I'm not the trigger man.
Did we get you in front of the camera at all this trip?
No. That's fine though. I'm not here to be in front of the camera. I'm here to take cool pictures and get some awesome video.
If we're filming this also, if people see me rubbing my forehead, it's Marcus had me out doing an interview, and I have so many gnat bites on my noggin. I look like one of those gourds you buy as a decorative thing at Bed Bath & Beyond. I got so many big knots on my head. I had to stretch my hat out a couple notches just to put it over my hairline.
So Marcus, why don't they bother you?
I don't know. Well, my theory is that I worked for APHIS, spraying and killing grasshoppers for a summer with some gnarly chemicals.
Uh-huh.
And my theory is that summer has just like infused my body with enough chemicals that mosquitoes and gnats and stuff, they just don't bite me.
Huh.
So
mosquitoes will start to get me a little bit, but yeah. It was funny because they're just all over you guys, biting you, and they're swarming me a little bit, but they don't bite me. They do not bother me hardly at all.
They bother me and they bite a little bit, but
Speak of
I
the
don't
devil.
I don't swell up. I don't get a mark.
I swell up.
Randy, we need an EpiPen for you when you get these things.
I was about ready to grab a couple Benadryl there. It looks like Mike Tyson got me in the corner there in the 12th round. I got enough knots on my head I can't rub them as fast as they show up. I'll show up in Petersburg tomorrow or the next day. They'll look at me. They think you guys beat me up out here or something. I hate those things. I asked the doctor what it is, because with a mosquito, I get a welt as big around as a quarter and about a 1/4 inch high.
Ugh.
And he says I'm allergic to the saliva of bugs. And that's what that reaction is.
That's really unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate when you're in Southeast Alaska and there's trillions of them.
Right. This is the wrong place to be.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there a similar thing with poison ivy and poison oak and stuff?
I don't
Like
know.
some people don't react.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought everybody reacted to it. Huh.
I don't know.
Huh.
You know, some do worse than others for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just stay away from it if I can.
Well, yeah. I mean, naturally.
I quite honestly, I don't think I'd know what poison oak looked like. I grew up... in
Leaves of 3, let it be.
Yeah. And I know that's what they say with poison ivy. Poison ivy's easy to
See, I don't know.
look at.
Been so many years.
Oh. Well, you're an Eagle Scout. You'd know that stuff.
If I could
So we got
remember.
back and we took care of your bear.
Mhm.
And we
Dried
hung
out.
him- We hung him to dry out in this tree up here behind us. And hung his nose on a thing that was over 8 feet above the ground. I bet you it's at least 8 feet.
So it was closer to 9.
Yeah. And his pelt stretches because, but his toenails, his back toenails were dangling and scratching the ground at that point. Think about that. That's like, I don't know how old that bear is, but I want to find out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the biologist says.
But his teeth weren't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, they were busted up and old and missing, but I've seen worse.
He had more teeth than the bear you ended up taking.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't mean
that
to
bear
jump-
I took had 4 teeth. 4, whatever you want to call them, canines or incisors or whatever the big fangs are. That's all he had left.
Yeah.
You guys keep giving away the end.
I know.
We start at the end and then retell the story.
All
That's
right.
all right,
Well,
though.
then you take over,
I'm
Marcus.
not taking over. I'm just.
Why not?
I like the storytelling method. It's non-traditional. I like it this way. It's good.
Well, I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done road trip ones where we've told stories along the way, and they get more downloads than a lot of them do. I don't know why that is. Maybe they're just waiting for me to get pulled over for driving with a headset on. One of these days, Newberg's going to get busted. And I don't have any way to talk myself out of a ticket.
Well, it's hands-free. So you're
It is hands-free.
It's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not distracted, though. But I drive so slow, the odds of me getting a ticket are just about 0.
Yeah, I think you're pretty safe.
Yeah. If the speed limit's 75, I'm a 65 guy. If the speed limit's 65, I'm a 60 guy. You
Why
know,
is
I get
that?
up early enough in the morning. I'm not going to be late if I hit one red light on the way to work. I don't know how many people. I live 4 miles from town. And I pull out and get on South 19th. I'm heading into my office. And there are people just flying right up behind me on my bumper. When Matthew was in high school, he said, "Dad, you get flipped off more than any person I know." Jeez. I mean, how do we get on that topic?
Driving with podcast gear.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. See, good thing we got a young mind here to tell us. So,
That's right. And I alluded to your bear based on teeth. So
oh, that's right. And so we offered Marcus to take over the podcast. So, I guess we're going to have to tell the other part of this story, which doesn't take very long. Well, this
We
could
were
be
just about there, I guess.
this could be the world's shortest podcast if we want to stop right there.
If we were going chronologically, we were on our way back to camp, right? We were looking at bears, but
You guys were looking at bears. I was
you
driving
were
the
not
boat.
looking at bears. We were.
You
looking,
weren't.
I was singing and driving the boat.
I promised to get a fire going.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Right.
think you threatened if I couldn't.
Yeah, I said if Mike can't, I had Marcus film it. Mike said I can guarantee a fire when we get to camp, and he did. It's right here. And so those of you we're filming this also, in addition to recording it. If you see Mike get up, he's over here by the wood pile. He's in charge of keeping the fire going.
That's right.
So, and yeah, so you'd promised that we were going to get a fire. We got that. And then we were drying out anything that got wet, gun cases and whatever.
Everything.
Marcus found out he had a leak in his waders at the most inconvenient time in the most inconvenient spot.
And he didn't. Well, you swore we're not going back out.
No, you guys tried to talk me into going out. Mine's wore out, man.
So Marcus and I had our waders off. We were just hanging out, everything drying out over the road.
Cooking brats.
That's right. Cooking
Yeah.
brats.
We cooked 9 brats last night. Or was it last night?
Yeah.
Holy cow. I have a hepatic coma going here with my liver condition. I'm on a low protein diet and I ate 3 brats. That's way beyond my quota.
And with the brat eating, we were done for the night. Randy didn't want to go back out in the boat to look for his bear because it was intermittent rain.
Right. And
I realized we
I'm a
needed some-
one-a-day kind of guy,
Yeah. One big bear a day.
One big bear a day. I don't want to be greedy, I like to spread it out.
That's right.
I'm one of those take it as it comes, sort of no big hurry kind of guys. You guys are impatient. Let's go.
We're bear hunting. We brought it up. We were ready to go.
I learned not to feed you guys.
That's right.
Once you guys get fed, then you're all ready to go again. Whereas old guys like me, I just want to roll in the tent and take a nap.
Well, you were still volunteering to do stuff because I realized we needed some water.
Right. We all the water we filtered the day we got here, we consumed or spilled or both.
So I was going to go get some, but you said, Mike, you just have pants on. You're going to get soaked in the grass.
Yeah.
Give
And
that to me.
I live in waders, so.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I haven't taken these waders off except to crawl in my sleeping bag for, how long we been here? 4 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did the smart thing with those pant waders.
Oh, I tell you what, these Sims pant waders, I don't get anything from Sims for saying this, but these are the ticket. If you got to pee, they got a zipper on them, a waterproof zipper, man. You're done.
Fantastic. Rather than taking off however many layers you got over your suspenders to get down to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you got your suspenders under your 3 coats and all that, and then you got your waist belt and yeah.
It was a pain. So you're comfortable in yours. We kind of took ours off. We're chilling and.
Yeah.
Nope, you're going to go get water in the wet grass for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't want you guys to get wet. So I come around the corner about, what's that corner, Marcus, from camp here? You can see it from where you're sitting.
Yeah, 150 yards away.
I come around the corner where we have our filtration system hanging, and wouldn't you know, there's a great big black bear standing right next to the creek that comes out of the brush. And a couple thoughts went through my mind. One is, I'm seeing things. The other is, well, he can't be that big, or he wouldn't be this close to camp. And the other is, if I run back to camp to get a rifle, these guys are going to think I'm jerking their chain. Because I just left 2 minutes ago. And I looked at that thing. I didn't have my binos or anything, but I could tell he seemed to be a really good one. And I thought, well, I better run back to camp, get my dud, and get my pack and my rifle and everything else. And did you guys think I was making it up?
We did. So Marcus and I sitting here at camp.
Sitting right here, right where we're sitting right now, by
Same
the fire.
spot. Heard a couple shots. So it kind of got our attention because we didn't hear any boats go by, so we didn't know where they came from. But I peeked through the trees, and Randy's running down the beach, like running, with this empty water containers in tow. and making rifle gestures. So we figure something's going on, whether the shooting was over by Randy or whether he sees something. We knew it was game on.
Yeah. I must not be, I guess it would be really hard to feign that type of excitement. I think the world would know if I just came running back here and was putting it on. You'd be like, he's jerking our chain.
You seem pretty serious.
Yeah. When you run over and start shuffling through the box of ammo and loading the rifle, that's usually pretty serious.
Yeah, it was a fire drill around here. We're throwing coats on, clothes on.
Yeah, Marcus is getting the camera ready. I'm looking for my binos and my rangefinder, and I'm thinking, well, by the time I get back over there, he's going to be gone. But he wasn't.
Our smoke was blowing almost in that same direction.
It was. The wind was all wrong. Fire smoke's blowing over there. That's what
Maybe that was our saving grace. Maybe it masked our scent.
Because when I went around the corner and he was there, I'm like, oh, he's going to smell. Because right away, I thought, he's going to smell me because the wind was at my back coming from camp to him. But he was in that little nook in the bay. And I wonder if the scent was just going out that way.
Yeah.
And where he was, it was coming the other direction. I don't know. But he was jet black. He wasn't rubbed at all. And
he's pretty. We got up to the corner where we could all three look at him. Put the spotter on him, and Marcus is saying, "That's a big bear."
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to shoot that thing.
I restrained a little bit. I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't go full Tyler Jonerson and say, that's the biggest bear I've ever seen. Shoot that thing.
Yeah. No, that was 2 years ago when I missed that one. If you know Tyler, he's like crazy into bears and cats. And when we saw that bear, he took one look in the spotting scope and said, that's the biggest bear I've ever seen. Kill that thing. And he's loading his pack. He's like, go, come on, hurry up. But this one, as much of a fire drill as it was, we were a little bit more disciplined in our approach.
No, just getting ready. Once we're over there,
yeah,
you took your time.
Yeah. Well, I borrowed the 7mm08. I couldn't figure out. I just grabbed one gun case, and it had the 7mm08 in it, and didn't bother with 308. So I said, if it could kill that big, whatever kind of polar bear looking thing Spitzer shot today, I can kill this one, I'm sure. So we went over there, and when we first ranged it, I think I had 240, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was in that grass feeding, but he's coming our direction. So I just looked at him in the spotter, and man, he looked big. Like really big. I'm like, he can't be that big. Bears, you don't shoot bears that big next to camp. Camp bears. That's like a little Yogi and Boo Boo kind of bears who need to steal the picnic baskets because they don't know how to make a living out here.
That's right.
And but he looked really big. So Marcus and I moved forward and got all prone out on this rock, and I was just waiting for him to turn because I wanted to get a better side view of him. And he would quarter towards me, both directions, kind of like left quarter, right quarter towards me. And I'm like, man, he looks big. Looking straight on, you know how they got those bowed legs? And I'm looking at his head. I'm like, his head looks like half as wide as his rump. And I looked where his ears were. That was the beauty of him looking, kind of feeding straight at us for as long as he did. Is I really got a lot of comparisons of, proportion of head and everything else. And his front shoulders were as wide as his rump. I'm like, man, I've looked at a lot of bears. That looks like one I'd normally shoot. Why wouldn't I shoot this one? This close to camp. Yeah, I think we better shoot this one. But I don't know how much footage we have waiting for him to turn broadside, but it's a long time.
Yeah, I want to say, I remember looking at the time code, and it was over 2 minutes of when I turned on the the second camera, actually. So I had been set up on the sticks with the main camera, and I turned on the second camera. And I was rolling for over 2 minutes before you shot.
Really?
Which seems like an eternity in the moment.
Yeah, it does.
Like 2 minutes while you're waiting through a rifle scope.
I was in the back with I had the spotter behind you guys 30 yards, but I also had my iPhone out because I could have, it was just a cool video of you guys in the frame, the bear in the frame. And I got tired of holding it. I'm like, is he going to shoot this thing or not? I just started the video over a couple of times.
Well, what kept going through my mind is, you know what, Randy, you've been in this situation before. Do not get too worked up. Just so as he was doing things, I was putting the crosshairs on a part of his body and seeing if I could hold it there and just practicing my breathing. And then I ranged it one last time and he's at 195. So I just turned the CDS dial to 200. And then he finally did turn broadside. I thought,
yeah, because he was never fully broadside until he shot.
Yeah, and I think I told you, "Are you ready?" or something. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah,
hear me.
and that's what I was trying. I think we were communicating back and forth the whole time.
Okay.
I'm like, just don't. I'm ready whenever. Like, you don't need to ask me. I'm ready whenever.
And then when I shot, you know how normally they spin and bite at where they've been hit. He didn't even flinch, but he took off in a hurry. I couldn't even get a second shell in the chamber. And I'm pretty handy working the action on those Howas. He was in the brush that quick.
He's in quick.
I'm like, oh no, here we go again. 9 o'clock at night, which up here, it's still bright at 9 o'clock at night. This time of year. Not what I wanted, but man, that shot felt good. And, but you never know, for sure. And you said you thought it looked good when you came walking up to us. So then Marcus and I, we walked over to, we found his footprints, but no blood, which isn't unusual with these bears. I mean, what was it, 3 years ago when we were up here and Bart May shot that one that I had to finish off that was coming after me over that log at about 3 yards. I don't think we found any blood from him for a couple 100 yards. And it was just a fluke that we found it. But they're so big, so fat, so muscly that even with complete pastures like both these bears had, it's hard. And the brush and the vegetation is such that this is some of the toughest tracking country I know of. I'm sure there's other places that are bad, but of the places I hunt, I don't know of any place that's as tough to track as here. And then at 9 o'clock at night, even though out where we're hunting, it's bright, you get in the canopy of all these trees and it's a lot darker.
It is, and just long shadows, and you're trying to look in kind of the hidey holes where the bear would go. It was tough.
Yeah. So we're over there. Mike comes up to us, and then Marcus and I are searching and looking, and we have Mike stay right where we found, well, the last track left the beach. Mm-hmm. And then you saw that he turned and went up. You found where he climbed up. I don't know. That is an ugly mess he climbed up to get up on that cliff. So there's a cliff band that's about, 15, 20 feet tall?
Yeah.
And he found some way to snake up there. And I know it was all three of us up there searching and looking and searching and looking. And
you took, 15?
Excuse me. Got a gnat that crawled down my pipe here. Hopefully it doesn't bite me and I get a big welt. I'll need a tracheotomy or something. But, yeah, how far do you think he made it?
Oh, from
not very.
Cliff band, from once he hit the canopy, the cover, 20 yards max.
Right.
Really? Okay.
I mean, it was so thick, it felt longer, but it was not very far.
Okay. It seemed long. Yeah. And as we're walking around there, I'm like, how could I miss that shot? I couldn't miss that shot. And then when Marcus replayed it and he yelled, hey, I looked at the video. That was a great shot. He's dead here somewhere. Then I got a little more relieved. But I'm like, you know what? I've had some strange bad things happen. I'm not going to get too wound up right now. And then I still don't know how you found him in that hole, Marcus.
I didn't find him until I was about a yard away from him. Like, oh, there he is.
Fortunately, like you said, he was dead when you found him.
Yeah. That was good. Would have had to beat him with the camera. It was.
So, once we dug him out of that hole, I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is huge.
Well, first, even walking up on him.
Yeah.
Was he laying back? When could you see kind of what he had on him?
He had that big white stripe on his chest, but I didn't see that until we rolled him over the first time.
Okay.
But when we rolled him over and his head came rolling off there, I'm like, my goodness. His head is wide.
His head is, yeah.
I mean, it's not as, maybe it doesn't seem as long because it's so wide. And
he was wider between the ears and the bear I shot.
Yeah.
Just a giant melon on him.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Especially to see how old they are.
Yeah.
Because the one I shot, his teeth are like really, really bad.
But I wonder, he obviously hibernated longer than the bear I shot. Yours was jet black, not rubbed.
Right.
A great height on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a giant melon.
Scars all over his face on his left side. He had a scar above his eye, just like a brown leather patch, and a pretty fresh one underneath his eye there that it had scabbed over, but it had opened up. I think when we rolled him around up there trying to get him in position, that scab opened up. And then he had another one over by his ear. Both ears were split.
Yeah.
That guy had to be an ornery dude. Good thing he didn't make it over to camp here. We would have had to shoot him in self-defense. The attitude he's got.
And I was first in line there to get eaten.
That's why we put you down there. Right? Mike's been kept awake every night by some amorous mink.
No, we got mink running around camp, but they're all over on my side of camp.
Yeah.
And all through the night, they're
doing their thing.
They're getting something going on over there. Keeping me up. Then I would have been just a soft taco in my sleeping bag over there for this bear, because yours could have munched me in no time.
I have no idea how much either of those bears weighed, but we've shot quite a few bears on the show, and none of them body size are as close as these two. I mean, to shoot in one day 2 bears like that is, I'll never be involved in a deal like that again, ever.
It was the day for bear hunting for us.
Yeah.
And both of them, you're right, just when they're laid out, spread out, paws down, head down, back feet out, they're still sitting 2.5 feet off the ground. Just a giant hump of a shoulder and neck meat. Rump.
Yeah.
Just big bears.
I could not believe it. Well, when Marcus said, I found him, and he's like, oh my God, is he big? As I'm walking over there, and Marcus is like, he's huge. This thing is a monster. I'm like, he wasn't that big, was he? And then when I got over there, I'm like, ooh, he's bigger than I thought he was. But like you were saying, Mike, I think that the grass can throw you off, because some places it's shorter grass and some places it's taller grass. But we'd walked over there to get water before, so I knew how tall that grass was. And when he stood that far above that grass when he was walking around, I'm like, you shoot those kind of bears. I've made this mistake before of passing one like this, and I'm not going to do that again. Oh, man, if I would have passed that, can you imagine what the audience would have said? 2 years in a row, or 2 hunts in a row, that stupid Newberg passed on another Boone and Crockett bear, which I don't know if either of them are Boone and Crockett, but let's just say they're big.
If they're not, I'd like to see what is, because they're just massive on their skulls.
The nose on your bear is so long. If that doesn't make the 20-inch minimum for the record book, I'm going to be really surprised.
Yeah.
I'll be really surprised if that one doesn't. We'll know when we check it in.
Yeah, that long nose really helps out on him.
Yeah. Man, they're 2 unbelievable bears.
They're just beautiful. I mean, just giant. Long way from my first bear, which was back in 2003 up in northern Idaho.
Uh-huh.
I hadn't bear hunted before. I was just learning. Buddy and I out on a logging road, we saw some bear sign. Hey, oh, there's some bears around here. Let's post up. A bear walks out. I had a bear tag. I'm like, I don't think he's that big. My buddy says, he's huge. Shoot him. It's like Marcus. So we shot him. Walked up on him, and I think I shot somebody's golden retriever.
It was really a bear.
It was a bear. It was, yeah, sorry. It's nobody's golden retriever. It was a bear. But about that size, because you just leaned down and picked him up. And I think that's always been stuck in my head. Just, bears can be tricky to judge. Mm-hmm. But out here, these things are just it's a different critter.
Well, that's what I've been looking at them, and I'm like, they just all look big to me. Yeah. But you guys are like, well, they kind of all are. Yeah. We've just been seeing a lot of big bears.
Yeah, which is weird that, a guy who I respect a ton, if anyone else would have told me this, I would have not been willing to try it. And I think we had some discussion about this, Mike, before the hunt, of the fact that it was a bit of a gamble going on advice of somebody to come this late. Mm-hmm. But his advice was, and he's out here every day of his life. He works here. And he said, you're going to see way more bears in May than you will in June. But if you want to see the big old boars that are out looking for sows, come in June. And you'll see way more boars as a percentage of total bears, even though you'll see less bears. And I just trust him so much. And I've hunted with him enough times that he's dialed in. And
he was spot on.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah. We only saw one sow with cubs.
Yeah.
The whole trip, right?
Right.
And then when we saw the hyena bear, we thought we saw a sow right there in that little back bay on the left.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A little bear for sure.
Yeah. And since her butt was so tall and her front shoulders were kind of dainty, I'm thinking she was probably a sow. Mm-hmm. Those are the only two I know of that I would say were for sure sows.
Of probably, 20 different bears we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd bet.
Everyone's a boar other than that.
Yeah. And I would say the two we shot, plus the one in the back corner over there, plus the hyena bear, all four of those are monsters. Crazy big bears. If I would have saw a bear of those sizes in Montana, I'd have swore it was a grizzly bear. Even if it was black. I would have thought it was a color-phased grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of grizzly bears in Montana, and they're big, but they're not a whole lot bigger than these two bears we shot.
Yeah. You're right. These are big bears.
Can you imagine how much they would have weighed in the fall after they'd been on berries and fish all year?
Because they had no fat on them.
Yeah.
Right. They'd used it all up.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine that with a ton of fat and full. Yeah, you're right.
You'd look at that thing and say, I don't dare shoot him with what I need backup.
Right.
Call in the reserves. But both these bears got shot with a 7 MMO8. And we talked about it a little bit earlier. I hear so many people tell me, oh, if you're going to hunt bears, you got to use whatever. You got to use whatever. And I'm not saying that that's not a bad idea, but my theory always is shoot your most accurate cartridge with the best built bullets it has and go with that. Yeah. And then if someone can shoot a 300 Win Mag super accurately, do it. Don't, why not?
Right.
But we've had such amazing luck with that 7mm08 and with all of our Howas.
Shoot the gun you like, but use the right bullet.
Yeah. And the results will be what you hope for, hopefully. Or at least they were in this case. So do you think the logistics of a hunt like this are doable, Mike? I mean, this is your first trip. I've done it enough times. I probably take for granted some of the logistics.
Absolutely. It's if you get past the intimidation factor, right? But you've got plenty of content out there on YouTube on what to bring, how to plan. Essentially the overall cost you're looking at per person. And like you say, if you want to be a little more comfortable, start off with a Forest Service cabin.
Yeah.
They're easy to come by.
Yeah.
But the logistics are, you just put a little time into it, you can have an incredible hunt.
Yeah. I'm guessing, I'm keeping all the receipts for this hunt for the three of us. And we end up bringing way more gear because of a production standpoint. But I think we're going to come in just under $2,000 a person, which that includes what boat rental would be. That includes the charter flight from Petersburg out to the hinterlands. That includes flights from the lower 48 to Petersburg and license and tags. We might go over 2,000 now that Alaska increased the non-resident tag fee. I forgot about that. So that might get us over 2,000, but still $2,000 to go to Alaska and hunt black bears in one of the most amazing settings.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I mean,
well, not just all the bears, but this place is just insane with wildlife.
Yeah.
Like, I saw moose, sea otters, eagles,
seals, mink.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so cool. And then just all the sea life too. I mean, I guess I haven't grown up around an ocean, so it's more intriguing to me, I guess, than someone who did. But
yeah,
just being around ocean environments are so cool to me.
It's intriguing to me too, and I've been here many times. I spent a summer commercial fishing up here, and it's just a cool place.
It's incredible.
Yeah, you got to be accustomed to gnats and mosquitoes and rain.
Yeah.
But once you get those under your belt, you're pretty good. Mike's letting our fire die down. What are we gonna do here? I thought you were an Eagle Scout. I don't know what we're gonna do. We're counting on that fire to provide enough light for our camera. Uh-oh, he's blowing on it now.
Oh, he's got it. It's going.
Oh, he's really giving it the heave-ho here. Look at that.
Got
Just a little bit of oxygen is all. Boy, you got a lot of lung capacity to get that thing started. Dolly Parton doesn't have that much lung capacity. I better quit making Dolly Parton jokes.
It's just this wet Alaskan wood. It takes a little drying out.
I know. It's like trying to burn wet cork.
It is.
How you got that thing as stoked up as you did yesterday, I don't know. But I detect you used an accelerant.
Well, we had plenty
of boat fuel?
Of boat fuel. And we were wet and cold.
Yeah. Well, this is an amazing place. I was thinking about, every place has, or every species kind of has its place. Like, I would say Southeast Alaska black bear is like Wyoming antelope, like Colorado mule deer, like South Dakota pheasants. Those are just the place where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go there.
Absolutely. Like this is, my first hunting trip up to Alaska, and it's just some that you can do on your own. And like we've talked about, this is back country. This is wild place, and it's accessible.
Yeah.
And
this is kind of a comparison of wildness in the lower 48 and accessibility. Any place in the lower 48 that is as accessible as this isn't very wild.
No.
This is not as wild as some of the crazy places of Alaska, but it's still, compared to the lower 48, this is a scale of wild that you can't find in the lower 48. And we left Bozeman at, 7 in the morning? We were here at 2 in the afternoon. And we could have flown out that day if we wanted, but we got a whole bunch of things we got to take care of when we get to town. We could have been out here by 5 that afternoon.
The same day we left. You're absolutely right.
Pretty crazy.
But so what did you think about the whole tide thing?
That
kind of puts me on edge still.
Yeah. That's one of, of the biggest kind of intimidating factors. Boat management with these tides, spring tides, just like so much water moves in and out.
Yeah.
And you can be high and dry in the blink of an eye. So I think, if you're the first time coming out here, a little bit of research on, how to utilize a couple anchors. We only got one with our boat, so we've had to jimmy rig a couple rock anchors, but the tides are serious.
Yeah, man. A lot of water moves in and out of these bays.
It's insane.
Yeah, if you think about the volume of water just in these little bays that comes through, and usually there's a channel and a constriction, and the tide is just sucking out in there. It's moving.
Like what height difference do you think it is between high and low right now? I mean, just straight up and down.
I bet these have been 14 or 15 foot tides.
Right. But then, like, in a gradual slope, that means that you need to anchor your boat out 100, 200 feet away.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. And I always say this, but I never do, is there's a way you can do it is you have an anchor to a buoy. Mm-hmm. They call it a mooring buoy. And then you have a pulley on that buoy ball. Right. And then you have ropes that go through the pulley, so you can just pulley your boat in, pulley your boat back out. And then it's always out in deep water.
Gotcha.
But we don't have that in our rental situation. So we make do with what we can. Mike builds anchors out of rocks full of barnacles.
That's right.
And enough rope. And I've determined that Mike, what he must do in his spare time is he takes rope and does crochet or something to create nets. And then he dumps a big rock in there. And that's what we've been using for our mooring anchor, because that anchor that came with the boat, that's worthless. Yeah. That's like, I'm not even going to say.
No, the boat just lifts it up and moves when it needs to.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you may as well have a, 3-ounce ball bearing tied to the end out there. A nice roll along, slide along. Oh, well. But that's the other part about the logistics in Alaska is that since Game and Fish changed the rule, I think 5 years ago, I could be wrong. I think it's 5 years ago, maybe 6, where the skiff can't be delivered to you out here in the field. So you got to pick up your skiff at some, wherever that renter is located. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are renting boats out of Petersburg. If you do Prince of Wales, a lot of people are renting boats out of Craig or Thorn Bay. They're just, a lot of places here are set up for it, but it's a long haul.
It is.
To get to the hinterlands if you do that. So the way we do it is we take a beaver. They drop me off at this little native village where we rent the boat and then bring you guys down to camp that we've all marked on a GPS. And then I got a 2-hour boat ride to get here. Which is a white knuckle event at times.
Yeah.
I imagine, because you used to see the amount of water you got to take that skiff through. Yeah. And I think on the way here, we lucked out and it was just bluebird weather.
Yes, absolute calm. I've never been out here in that part of the bigger water where it's been just flat, like mirror flat. Last time, when I was bringing the skiff back, it was trucking out there, and here I'm out there in a little 16-horse boat with a 20-horse motor. I can't even get all the way up on plane, and all just the seas. It just, man, you hold on tight.
Yeah,
you say a prayer or two along the way.
And use your GPS.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad. It was not bad at all this time. So I'm thankful for that, because it is unnerving, and I think I mentioned earlier, I spent a year commercial fishing up here. So between that and a lifetime of owning boats, I feel like I'm capable with a boat, and I understand the tides pretty well. But there's still days, you guys probably see the look in my eye where I'm having some trepidation and some worry of, I don't think, let's not screw with this today. I don't care how big a bear's back in that bay. Let's just wait for a better situation.
Well, when we were coming out with my bear, and that tide came in significantly higher than we anticipated.
Right.
Right. And luckily we had both put the anchor down and tied off the boat.
Right. We double tied.
So, but if we had just relied on the anchor,
we'd have been in big trouble.
We'd have been in big trouble.
Because the anchor was slipping in that heavy wind.
Anchor slipped, and, I was kind of coming back carrying that bear, and I kept coming, and I was like, I think I should see the boat now, and I don't see the boat. And, everything starts running through your head, especially when you're in a pretty wild place.
Yeah.
That we didn't have the dry bag, right? Oh crap dry bag.
Yeah, the shit kit.
Yep.
So what I do when I come to this place is I put together a dry bag that has everything of a necessity. Marine band radio, water filters, anything that, all right, if I get stranded, I'm going to make it. And I have a way to communicate. Well, I got so excited about Mike telling the story of his bear, and we took off in such a hurry once we tied the boat off. Once we got down there, I told the guys, I'm like, oh, crap. I forgot to put the shit kit on shore somewhere. And, looking at where the tides were, I don't know if I would have been smart enough to bring it far enough up on that little island to the tide line. Above the tide line, it might have floated away. I'd hope I'd have been smart enough, but it's just things you got to do up here because Alaska, like a lot of wild places, doesn't accommodate recklessness or carelessness very well. I mean, sometimes you're going to get away with it, but sometimes it's not a place to screw around and do, what do they say? Play stupid games, win stupid trophies.
Yeah.
I'm not here to win a stupid trophy, even as careful as I try to be, and some people tell me I'm like a little old man. No offense to the little old man. I'm not sure what they mean when they say that, other than that I'm a worrywart. And I'm overly conservative because I just don't want to have some sort of calamity out here in the hills. Or I guess these aren't hills. Out here in the bush. But so what else would you tell someone who wanted to do this, either you guys, that now that you've seen it twice, Marcus?
Yeah. I mean, it is doable. Yeah. I think what we just talked about is the most intimidating part to me, but
yeah.
I think it's very doable. I mean, especially because you don't have to do it the exact same way you do it, right? You could get dropped off in a bay with an inflatable because you've done that before.
Yeah.
And that's pretty, I don't know. It's hard to get high and dry on that because you could just drag it up on the shore and drag it back down to the water.
Yeah, just carry it around if you get waylaid.
And then just the safety thing of having a way to communicate with somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, nowadays with all those devices, we have an inReach, but we left it at the office.
Whoops, that was my bad.
And then I always carry my marine band radio because on these intercoastal areas here in Alaska, there's so many boats. Mm-hmm. And the Coast Guard and everybody's listening on the marine bands. And they're waterproof, they're bomb-proof, so I never leave home without that. But I don't know. I hope that a lot of people come and do it. There's always the risk of it getting, what do they say, loved to death.
Well, I'd say, do it. And I sat next to a guy on the plane when we came up to Petersburg.
Mm-hmm.
That him and his dad have a lodge out of Petersburg that lets you do it on your own. I know there's...
Yeah, that's an option a lot of people do also.
A number of those over in Prince of Wales. And
yeah.
I mean, you can stay at a lodge, have them feed you, go out and hunt, and you're still into it, for a similar price. It's not that bad.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that, within striking distance of that lodge, that those bears get hunted.
Pretty hard. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not trying to say that I wouldn't want to do it, but just like those were the things that are most intimidating to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is very doable, and I want to come back for sure. I love it up here.
Well, I don't know how we're going to do it next time. I'll have you and somebody else. Maybe we can bribe somebody to come with you. I don't know.
No,
It's a pretty incredible place.
for sure.
I'm grateful you shared it with me, Randy. It's neat to be out here and see this because.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you came with. Everybody who's came here and done it with us, you, Bart, Joe Treat, some of the camera guys who've never done it before, every one of them are like, that is unbelievable. What a remarkable place. And sometimes we've done it on this island, sometimes we've done it on other islands. I've camped on 1, 2, 3, 4 different islands in the 7 trips. And so I think this one, though, we're going to kind of keep a secret. So
Sounds good.
all right. You guys good with keeping it a secret?
Absolutely.
All right. I'd hate to have to hurt somebody. Taken me 7 trips to solve the riddle to this degree. But you know what'll happen? We'll come back in 2 years, and there won't be anything here. There'll be 4 camps set up here. And
Oh, yeah.
something will go snare wire.
There'll be a cabin right where we're sitting right now.
Yeah. Oh, man. Don't depress me like that. Huh. But it's like everything. You think about elk hunting. After maybe you found the honey hole your first time, but the odds are you didn't. Your second time, maybe you saw a few more elk. Your third time, maybe you shot one. And then you maybe you get some tough luck, and along the way you don't fill a tag, but you're building a knowledge base that if it's a hunt you can do consistently and regularly, after a while you're going to have success.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people, if you can find a state or an area that you can hunt year after year after year for elk, it's go do it, because you're going to learn it, and your success rate's just going to go higher and higher. I look at a lot of guys who come to Montana from out of state, and they've been doing it every year, and they have really good luck because they stuck with it and they learn more about it. And that's kind of what this is. This is just me coming up here. All right, I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm going to try a different time of year. Okay, I'm going to try da-da-da. And based on the luck we had this time, I'm going to try to replicate this one and not some like the first time I came, I saw 1 bear in 6 days.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I thought it was a sow, so I passed on it. I had a shot at it, and then the camera guy's like, get closer, get closer. I'm like, it's a sow. He's like, I don't care, get closer. And then I got closer, and it ran off. But I wasn't sure it was a sow, but that was the only bear I saw in the whole trip.
Wow.
And then we get here now after 6 other trips, and it seems like...
See, this being my first trip, like, it's been amazing. I can't fathom not seeing,
I know, with all the bears we
10
saw...
bears a day.
Yeah, it's like, how could you come here and not see a bear? Well, I figured out how to come here and not see many bears.
Yeah.
Another time I came here and had a leftover tag... I saw 2 bears, and it rained torrentially all 6 days. I mean, like, just absolute terrible. Wow. 20-knot wind, rain every day.
Oh.
It is the most miserable time I think I've ever had up here.
And were you in a cabin that time or
No, tent?
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
I mean, even having all the right clothing and staying dry inside.
Yeah, you still just get stir crazy.
Yeah.
It's like,
and your gear gets wet.
Yeah, and you don't want to stand around outside and visit or talk with the crew or, fiddle with your gear or anything. You just want to get in your tent where it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in your tent, all that time, I mean, after a while, you're like, somebody put a fork in me, man. I can't deal with this. So while we've been gone, Mike, you realize that the Colorado deer draw was today.
Oh.
So I might have a Colorado deer tag waiting for me.
Another tag this year you might have.
Yeah.
Good
and Idaho moose.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Hopefully, now that you're an Idaho resident, this is your first year as an Idaho resident that you could apply. And since there's no point system there.
I had these pretty good odds in my unit I applied for, so.
Well,
we'll see.
We didn't do Idaho with you, did you, Marcus?
I didn't apply, no.
Oh, but
and I did points in Colorado, too.
Yeah, but the reason is, so I told the whole crew, you got a choice between Idaho, I'll buy your license and do your application in Idaho, or Arizona.
Okay.
They all did Arizona. Or did I say you had to do Arizona?
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I bought my Arizona license earlier when I applied for elk.
That's right. Yeah.
Smart.
I owe you.
No,
See,
that's fine. You don't owe me anything.
But so Arizona won't be out until, I think you usually find out around the 1st of July or second week in July, I don't know, something like that for deer and sheep. Not that I need to sit around waiting for a sheep tag. But we do have to worry about sheep tags in Montana in about, when do we find out, Marcus? A week from
June
Tuesday?
16th, I believe.
June what?
June 15th or 16th,
15th?
whatever that week is, yeah. I'm sure we'll draw one of those.
Oh, I'm sure. I have 27 years. I've never drawn one moose or sheep, so.
Probably have almost a percent chance, 1% chance maybe.
1%?
I don't know. Maybe not that good.
No, now they're squaring everybody's points.
I know, that's the stupidest thing. Squaring points. When just about everybody has max points, what good does it do to square everybody's points? I commented on that, Bill. I said, this is like the old pissed off white guy club here. A bunch of old gray-haired farts who are concerned that they're not going to get to shoot their third sheep. So they want to square all the points so all the young Hunter Ed graduates can't get a tag.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. So there you have it, folks. If you're in Montana and you got max points and you thought it was worthwhile for you to get your points squared, I'm here to tell you it did you no good.
So I hope Idaho never goes to a point system.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
You've got it pretty good.
I've said it many times. I'd give up. I counted how many points Matthew has across the West. It came to 260 some points. He's sitting on right now. And he burned insane. 12 of them for elk in Wyoming this year. And so I'm sitting on 20 points in Utah for antelope. 20 sheep points in Arizona and Nevada and, crazy numbers of points in other places. I'd trade all my points to go to no point system.
Yeah.
What's more fair than everybody having the same chance every year?
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
even then make them pick and choose like Idaho does.
Yeah, that's interesting how Idaho does it, where you got to pick moose, or you pick sheep, or you pick goat, or the three of deer, elk, and antelope.
So you can do deer and elk and antelope, or one of the others.
Right. But if you do moose, that's it. If you do sheep, that's it. If you do goat, that's it. Mm-hmm. And if you do deer, elk, and antelope, you can't do any of the other three.
But it makes the odds reasonable. Makes people really decide what they want to do. And, in Idaho, we've got the benefit of general tags, deer and elk for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess every state's got its own quirks. If I'm going to have a point system, I think Arizona's got the best point system.
I'm in full agreement.
And the fact that they give you two choices, I like that because I'll swing for the fences in my first choice. And then my second choice will be, no, I just want to go.
Yeah. Because I went and did my hunter's ed there years ago. And finally, Arizona's not cheap, and I missed a year or two here and there, but I'm finally back in. My loyalty point kicks in this year, so we're doing a good jump. But Arizona does it right.
Yeah, I like how they do it. And for kids, I don't know if this podcast will air before the Arizona youth applications are due June 12th. It might air on June 12th. But there's no cheaper place in the West to build points for your kids than Arizona. $5 non-resident youth license.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And then they get to build all these points. So by the time they're my son's age, at 28, they've got 18 deer points in Arizona. Like he does. 18 antelope, 18 sheep points.
And a realistic, if they want to late hunt, you can put them on an elk within a few years of starting their points off.
Yeah.
And you got them fully addicted to the point game.
Before. I did. And that's these point games are kind of like, I don't even know what the good analogy is. My one friend from Michigan says it's kind of like baiting. He hates the idea of baiting deer, not that it's the end of the world, but he says if he doesn't bait and his neighbors do, he doesn't have any deer. And he said point systems are kind of like the same thing. I can not like it and say, well, I'm not going to buy a point this year or I'm not going to whatever. But if everyone else buys points, I'm never going to draw.
You're right.
So.
It's a good analogy.
Oh, well. It is what it is, I guess. Since I'm not the king of the West, I don't have that much say in it. In fact, even if I was, I don't think anyone would listen to me. But what else we got coming up, Marcus?
In terms of
content.
Going out on YouTube. Well, we should have that film releasing on Amazon soon.
Soon, if it ever gets approved. Folks, I was like, when are you going to put more stuff on Amazon? I should give them well, not that Amazon has a phone number. I should give them an email. Here, email these folks and ask them when they're going to approve our episode. Because that's what drives that answer.
Is that the film you played at the backcountry rendezvous?
Yeah. And then we're working on your desert sheep hunt.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
We'll have the day-by-day of this hunt, this Alaska bear hunt.
Yeah.
Going up before too terrible long.
Yeah, we told Michael and Dan that if they don't do day-by-day Montana bear hunts.
Yeah, they might have
fired.
a Montana bear down by now. Who knows? So, did you ever text them today to see if they're
I did. When
working?
We drove the boat out there and got coverage, I texted Dan and said 2 monster bears. And he just said, great, glad to hear, or something like that.
Oh, nice.
But I didn't ask him if he was working.
Well, it is Saturday.
Oh, there you go. cut him some slack there. But so we'll have that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to your desert sheep hunt. I've seen days 1, 2, and 3, I think, of the day by day.
Right. Okay. David's been editing those.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing about it is we had a lot of people coming and going, and it's hard to keep track of who's there and who's this. But
character establishment is hard to do when you have that many people in different places and only
I don't even have many
one
friends,
camera really.
I have no friends, but I draw a desert bighorn tag, and all of a sudden,
you have friends everywhere.
People want to hang out.
Who all was there? The 3 of us, and Tyler was filming.
Yeah.
Scott Jones.
Klebano.
Don Klebano came, buddy of mine.
Yeah.
Chad Merritt. Yeah. Sean Smith, his brother Wesley.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
We had a full camp.
Yeah, we had plenty of that. Enough that you guys located that sheep.
All right, we refound him. We did.
That was funny. I wonder if I haven't seen or thought about how we're going to, because I don't think we ever filmed the guys blocking the road and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Did we? No, you weren't there to film any of that, were you, Marcus?
No.
Did Michael film any of it? Oh, Michael was there too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Michael was just taking photos, though. I think pretty much.
Yeah.
He may have. We had the crew, the road crew, that's for sure.
Yeah. There were some other people looking for that ramp for sure.
Yep.
Oh, well.
It got a little interesting.
Yeah. Well, he got a victory ride back out of the canyon.
Well, luckily he didn't hang out by the road, so he was safe from most everyone.
Yeah. No, we've looked at the footage. Have you seen the footage on a big screen?
No.
The vapor trail of the bullet is like unbelievable.
Is it?
I have never seen a vapor trail like that ever. It is crazy. And you can see an exact perfect heart shot. It's like, it's like this laser going across the monitor. And when you hit him, you can tell that's a short story here. I know how this book ends.
I'm excited to see it in that footage. And once again, that 7mm 08.
Yeah. That was such a fun hunt.
That was.
I'll invite you. If you can get me a desert bighorn tag, Mike, you're invited to come with.
That's it?
Yeah. All you got to
Okay.
do is get me a tag.
All right. I'll get on it.
I thought maybe if I went down to Nevada this year and did some volunteer work and other stuff, it'd help me, but nope. Didn't help me. Got another point.
You're due for a sheep hunt.
You know, I've kind of given up on that idea of drawing a sheep tag in the lower 48. I think to complain about it would sound selfish and greedy because I have been blessed with so many other hunting opportunities that if I never draw a sheep tag, it's not going to be the end of the world for me. I'd like to, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It'd be a happy day on Johnson Road if I did. You'd hear me hooting and yelling down all the way from Pocatello.
It's pretty neat, and kind of like you've gotten to tag along on some buddies' sheep hunts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started out with my own. I hadn't been on a sheep hunt before and drawn my tag, but I see the draw. You know, I could.
Oh.
Anybody I know that's getting a tag, I'll be coming along. So,
well, you should talk to Marcus. Maybe you can join on his sheep hunt this year.
what about when you draw your Montana bighorn?
Well, Marcus and I have the same odds. We
Oh, yeah?
applied for the same unit,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we both have max points, right?
Yep.
So
Okay. Well, either of you. If Marcus draws, who's going to film it?
I don't know.
I'll just self-film it.
Yeah,
Do some selfies and
I
stuff
think
up there.
we can round up some folks to film that.
Okay. All right.
So.
Will
But
Marcus
I'm only
be
giving him
comfortable?
2 days off to get it done.
There you
2
go.
days, huh? You might have to quit.
We are so lucky to live in the places we do, to get to hunt as much as we do. I think about if I lived somewhere where I only got a tag every 4 years or every 8 years. Oh my goodness. Whew.
Yeah.
Scares me thinking about that.
It's yeah.
Very lucky.
We are lucky and blessed to live where we do and have,
Yeah.
you know, wild places, wild things, like we've said before. But
Yeah.
you know, and you play the non-resident game, and you apply, and
Yeah.
hope for the best.
So should we throw Dan under the bus with this one?
In which way?
About his Remi Warren story? Remi, if you're listening. Remi, we have an employee, Dan Waldy, who listens to anything that you say or do. And as we were coming up here, what did he tell you, Marcus?
Well, we were hunting bears in Montana. Is how this all started.
You were hunting and Dan was filming.
So I was
you.
hunting and Dan was filming me. We were in Montana.
Uh-huh.
And it was raining pretty good.
Yeah.
And Dan said, he's like, well, I think that I heard Remi Warren say that bears come out after the rain stops. And so I just I kept repeating that, thinking it was kind of funny, just a little bit poking fun at Dan. I'm like, well, let me tell you, Dan says that Remi Warren says that bears come out after the rain.
So since we saw tons of bears in the rain, we're trying to conclude, did Remi really say that? And if so, Remi, we're here to tell you that was all wrong. Or did he not say it and Dan heard it from someone else and he thought it was Remi?
Right.
Or did Remi not say it and Dan heard Remi say something that really wasn't what Remi said? I don't know.
Yeah.
But now Dan's under the bus. It's just whether or not we're going to put it in park, drive, or reverse.
Exactly.
But it's been a lot of fun on this trip for Marcus to continue to say, well, the rain stopped. The bears are going to be out according to Dan. Well, according to Remi. Well, according to... I wonder how many people listen to BS stuff that I just make up and say, well, Randy Newberg said.
Oh, yeah. We're going to run with that one.
We can just keep it going, you know. Well, Randy said that Marcus said that Dan said that Remi said that bears come out after the rain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next play, Remi will be somewhere like, hey, I heard on Randy Newberg's podcast, you said the bears come out after the rain. I've been hunting after every rainstorm. I haven't seen a bear.
That's right.
Remi will be like, what? He's a really good guy. So if you get a chance to listen or watch anything Remi does, you should do it, folks. He's a really, really good guy.
Then we can start a new one.
What's that?
Randy Newberg says, you only shoot bears from camp.
Ooh, there you go.
And everyone's hunting around camp.
I don't shoot bears very often. But when I do, I shoot them close to camp. The most sophisticated bear hunter in the world.
Exactly.
I don't have the voice to do it, though.
That's pretty good. Maybe you should sing it.
No. Randy's not singing
We
anything.
might start calling in bears, though.
Yeah. Marcus and Michael put together a parody video on that commercial about the most sophisticated man in the world. Because I was sitting in the office saying something, and I wasn't sure if they were filming, but they were. And so they put up this, and we've not released it because it's like, I don't know if people would like it. But it's, I don't know. You guys came up with all kinds of things like.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember them all.
Geese migrate just for him.
Geese migrate.
He's made, something.
Made the elk rut in June.
Yeah.
Or something. I can't even remember all the ones we had.
But I don't drink Dos Equis.
Yeah.
I don't drink at all, so I'm not the guy to do it. I don't have a real, like, the look those guys have, like this sophisticated kind of look. I'm just like...
And we need a picture of you with all your gnat welts around your forehead.
There you go. Right now, that'd impress a lot of people. I'm rubbing my forehead here. They're starting to go down. I might be able to fit my hat on the rest of the day or the rest of the trip. It hurts. They're sensitive, man. They hurt like crap.
I don't think our YouTube audience is going to be able to see us anymore.
I don't think so because Mike let the fire go out. So we made reference that people are going to get to watch this on YouTube. Well, right now it's pitch black because Mike let the fire go out. So it's going to be like watching a test pattern.
I know. I left the gasoline in the boat, so we're in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do. We got a beaver plane coming here to pick us up at 10 in the morning. Or they say if the weather's good.
And it's 10 at night.
Is it?
Yeah.
What time are we going to get up? Are you one of those guys who can pack in like 5 minutes? Or do you need to like organize every little thing?
Pretty quick. All this stuff is wet. I hate, we got to deal with wet tents and wet gear.
Yeah, that sucks.
But we'll fit it in the beaver and figure it out later.
Yeah. Well, then we got to haul it all down the beach too.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to be any fun.
We better get an early start because hopefully the beaver can come in. It's
like
nice weather right now.
6 too early?
I was thinking 7.
Yeah, 7.
Get up at 7 or start at 7?
Get up at 7.
Okay. Because
Right.
Marcus has heard me say this many times. If I say we're rolling at 7 and you show up at 7, you're 10 minutes late.
Okay. Well, let's start at 7:15.
And I'm one of those guys where if someone's late, I just am ornery.
Yeah.
Kim
that's
hates
good
it. That it ruins my day when somebody's late because she's late all the time. I don't know what it is. I think she just tries to test my patience.
Yep.
If I say we're going to leave at 7, 7:08, 7:12, something like that is about when we'll get going.
Yeah, I'm like you. If we say 7, I mean, if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So
I mean, if you can't get the mattress off your back, that isn't my fault. I've left a lot of people before.
Well, luckily that beaver's coming at 10. We're in good shape.
All right. Well, we got bear meat to take care of. We got hides and skulls and coolers to clean out.
Mountain house to eat.
Oh yeah, we got to eat all of the food that's left.
That's up to you guys. You guys are the ones who bought all that food.
I can't
I
eat
was
the mountain
out
house.
here with nothing but Snicker bars and a mountain house, and these guys, they cleaned out the grocery store in Petersburg. The IGA had to bring a new delivery in after these guys got done. I didn't know if we were going to make the weight limit on the beaver with all the goodies. I saw some breakfast cereal in there and some potato chips. And
now he's coming 2 days early, so we got lots of extra food to eat.
Yeah, we better get going.
Well, it's up to you guys. I'm not doing that. I'm going to bed after this podcast. I need my beauty sleep. Trying to think what world's problems we haven't solved today.
I think we've covered every world problem.
I think we have. The thing I've concluded is, because before I bought this Yamaha boat motor, so people may not know this, but I own a boat motor and it stays stored up here in Alaska. Because too many of my previous trips up here, I had problems with boat motors. So I said, I'm going to solve this. I found one on Craigslist, and I called someone who knew the guy who was selling it. And he's a guy, he's the pilot who's flown me out here many times. I'm like, hey, Cole, you know this guy? Oh, yeah. His wife just bought him a new boat. He has to get a new kicker for that boat. I'm like, oh, you think this motor's ever been used? Probably never. And if you buy it, I'll fly it out to that village for you to store it. So that's why we have a reliable motor on these trips now.
It's been great.
Get yourself a little 4-stroke Yamaha, and you're set.
Mm-hmm.
I've owned, let's see, on my wife's walleye boat, she's got 2 Yamaha 4-strokes on that. We've had 2 more before that. I hear a boat coming.
Yeah.
Is it those guys in their bear?
They must have got one. I feel like they were dealing with it long enough that...
Well, they maybe could have got it hefted in the boat by now. Well, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
They were probably laughing at us. Did you see the look that they kind of gave when they drove by? Like, these guys are idiots.
Camping in tents.
Yeah, camping in tents. It's prime bear hunting time, and they're sitting in camp smoking cigarettes and drinking beer.
Little do they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
Celebrating right
I
now.
was telling Marcus that. I said, you see that look they gave? And I said, you know what, though? It's the exact look I give people when I drive by. Like, what a bunch of candy asses sitting in camp when they should be out hunting. That's just the default position I take.
Exactly.
Is that all their tags might be filled, but I write it off as just candy asses. And today I was candy assed, I guess. That's the category I was put in today. But there they go. Boy, they got a way bigger motor than we got.
They're cruising.
They move right along. We couldn't get going that fast, going down current with just one person in the boat. Huh. Well, I guess that solved that riddle. So much for us thinking this was our own little honey hole.
Yeah.
Now you guys aren't sworn to secrecy. The whole world will know about it. That's probably Babe Winkleman right there.
Probably somebody that watched your show that saw that they could come up and do it on their own.
Oh, man.
And figured out where you went. Maybe they're going to listen to this podcast and they'll hear their rifle shots in the background.
Yeah, just like Aaron, the guy who we flew up from Seattle. He's on the same flight.
Yep.
And then saw him, he sat down for dinner with us in Petersburg, and we saw him at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
In the hardware store.
He's been doing this a number of years. Some buddies, they go out camp on a boat.
Yeah. He said, the first time I saw you do that, I said, I'm going to figure out how to do that. I'm like, dang it. I got to quit doing this.
No, there's plenty to go around up here. There's some...
Yeah. And the whole idea is that everything we do is about lowering the hurdles.
Right.
That's right.
My biggest fear is a place gets loved to death. And I don't know how you prevent that, because you want people to use it and know it and be aware of it so they'll advocate for it. But if you got too many people, using it. Some of them are going to be abusers, not users. And then it's going to end up not being what you wanted it to be. Too many people on this planet. You know, if there weren't so many people in Montana, Marcus, we'd both have a sheep tag by now.
You know, that's true.
Dang it.
That's all right, though. One of these years, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe not, actually.
Well, I'm. There's two ways you do it. You either get lucky or you try to advocate for putting more sheep on the mountain.
Right.
Which I do that, but that doesn't seem to be helping either. Uh-oh. I felt some raindrops.
I have to wrap it up here before too long.
Is it raining? Did you feel any raindrops?
I'm hearing a few.
Uh-oh.
Is it coming?
Oh, the audience is probably saying, well, good thing, because I'm tired of listening to these blowhards. Or at least one blowhard.
Probably do it like I do at 1.5 speed.
I know, you showed me that on the plane the other day. I had never heard of that.
We should have tried to record it at 1.5 speed.
Right? So then
Just like talk really fast and see how
So what? Then they got to play it at half speed?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
So does the person sound like he's been inhaling helium or something?
Yeah, 1.5, it's not bad. It's just, it's not their normal voice, but you cruise through them and you can churn through the podcast a little faster.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I only listen to one podcast, so.
He's right. You got the right one.
I listen to it while I record it. I don't know. I don't have time to listen. I occasionally pick up the Meat Eater, Gritty, or a couple of the other podcasts, but I'm just so busy that I didn't bear hunt one day in Montana this year.
Dang.
I told the crew they had to go out bear hunting because I was in Arizona, I was in Oregon, I've been all over the place.
Price of popularity. See, I'm not as popular as you, so I get lots of. I'm not on the phone. I get just windshield time with my job sometimes, and I get to.
Well, I'm not popular. I'm just stupid.
I don't think so.
When you hire a bunch of employees, then you got to figure out a way to make payroll.
Yeah.
And I've told these guys I'll keep making payroll as long as I stay married. And so if I'm out of town and my wife calls and says, you know what, the plumbing's blacked up or the snow is drifted in the driveway, these guys would be well served to go and take care of that. Because if I get divorced, this whole operation comes to a grinding halt.
Yep, you're in it together.
Yeah. So I don't know if they've put two and two together. Have you thought about it that way, Marcus?
Yeah, I think we're safe.
You think so?
I hope so. I guess.
He didn't hear the conversation at my house the other day. Oh gosh.
Poor Kim doesn't have the patience to train anybody else.
I think she's given up. She's like, you know what? This is my lot in life. I am so blessed. As much as I'm blessed with great hunting and everything, I am blessed with the best wife in the world. That's why I give marital advice on this podcast. You know, people think that when I give all that marital advice that I know what I'm talking about. Really what it is, I just lucked out. I lucked out and got one that wants me to be out of her hair most of the time. And she doesn't really care how much money it costs for me to be out of her hair. Just get out of my hair. I need to be alone for a while.
There you go.
So, but I don't think we need any more marital advice on this trip. I'll worry about that when I get home. What an amazing adventure.
Yeah.
You realize we're never going to replicate this.
This is, yeah. How would you top this? I don't think you could.
I guess if Marcus would have applied,
yeah,
we could have shot a third bear.
Had this been too much.
Yeah.
We would have been pushing our luck. That would have just been, I don't know.
We'd have had to hire an otter to get out of here instead of a beaver.
That's right.
Well, folks, that's the story from southeast Alaska as the rain is starting to trickle down and we're sitting under the trees here. We really are. I don't know that anyone's going to believe it, though, because our video camera went dark. our fire went out. But
yeah, someone should get on that.
yeah. One of you guys get on. I'm going to bed. I'm old. I need my rest. So, you don't got any last words of advice or wisdom, Marcus?
I don't think so. Other than this is an incredible place, and I really appreciate you bringing me along.
Oh, well.
I
don't think you had any choice, did you?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I have the greatest job in the world. Getting paid to be here. It's this is incredible.
I'm glad you think that. I hope we can keep this Ponzi scheme going, so you can keep thinking that. You got anything to leave the audience with, Mike?
No, get out, hunt, enjoy it so that you can work to protect it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times we forget that it's here because we don't get out enough. And when you get out and do it, you realize what value it has and how much it means to be in, at least to me. I can't imagine in America without all these kind of opportunities and all these kind of places. This is my idea of America. And as long as I got breath in my body, the odds are I'm probably going to be flapping my soup coolers promoting the cause of public lands and hunting and conservation, and hopefully someday when they bury me in the dirt, I don't want to be buried. I want to get eaten by a bear. I think that'd be way cooler. Like the eagles eating that bear carcass today. What cool. A good way to get spread around the landscape. Don't bury me in the ground. I told Kim that if I get a terminal thing, I'm going to give her my general GPS coordinates, and I'm going to go and find a bear, and I'm going to pick a fight. So don't blame it on the bear.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good way to go if you can share the story, right? But if you're dead and you just kind of got eaten.
Well, no, they can have a eulogy over a pile of bear dung.
Soup can Charlie. Yeah, there's Randy. Little piece of Randy right there.
Right. And you don't got to pay for a casket thing. You just shovel it up and put it in a plastic bag.
That's true.
And, if people want to come to a service, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine too. Yeah. Every time someone sees some bear poop, they'll be like, I wonder if that's Newberg.
There's a little piece of Newberg right there.
Yeah. Now that I say that, I will get attacked by a bear this year in elk season, and they'll say, see, he was asking for it. Well, I hope not. Anyhow, we're getting into some bad tangents here. I got to go put some mercurochrome on my forehead here and get rid of these. Oh, man, they hurt.
Yeah.
Need some acum pucky, as Uncle Larry says. Condemonium, he calls it. Cures coughs, colds, and sore holes, he says. I never asked him what all of that means, but we're Uncle Larry's coming hunting with us.
Yeah.
By the time that's done, my camera crew is going to shake their head and say, how can you be related to that guy?
That'll be a fun one. I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah. We should just air it unedited.
I don't know.
Because Bernie Kuntz took the traveling profanity trophy from him.
Okay.
And if we get Larry in good form, he could win it back. Very well. Yeah. And if we get him talking about politics, I'm sure he will win the traveling profanity trophy.
Yeah, just poke that, drop the line. Let's get Larry going.
Yeah, I think we should do that. We did a video out there of my old buddy Ole Olson, who passed away this winter from Alzheimer's. What an ugly way to go. I'd prefer the grizzly bear route than what Ole went through. But we hit his tag on him. And Ole, he was completely uninhibited. I mean, he had no filter. And so we took that segment of video and bleeped it all out, and it's out there on our YouTube channel. I think it's called Bloopers, Randy Hides Ole's Tag or something. I've watched that 100 times, and I still laugh every time. That could be, we could get Larry wound up with that. You've hung out with Larry in Arizona last year.
Yeah.
That's a special kind of humor there.
Yeah, it was fun. I like Larry.
Yeah. Anyhow, I got to go find some of his mercurochrome or acampucky or condormonium that he uses and get it spread on my forehead here so I can get rid of these knots and knobs I got. Man, it hurts. Can't believe you made me sit there and do that, Marcus. I told you those bugs were biting me bad. Hold still.
The light was good.
I got you in focus. Hold still. There's a blood spot. It looks like someone smashed me in the face with a bloody marble or something. And there's a big round blood spot where I'm squishing all these mosquitoes and bugs. And he's like, "Oh, you got some on your cheek. Wipe it off." Oh, well. We'll continue this bug discussion on the next podcast.
All right.
Thanks,
Sounds
Mike.
good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing me
being
along.
here. Yeah, thanks, Marcus. Appreciate all your hard work. Man.
Thank you.
You do some amazing stuff in some absolutely terrible conditions.
I love it.
Well, I'm glad. I hope you keep loving it. And to all of you listening, thanks a ton. We really appreciate you chiming in or listening while we chime in. And until the next time, go out, do some hunting, fishing, whatever, on the public land.